Minimum wage as NLC, TUC suspend strike by a week. My guest tonight is Kassim Afegbua, APC chieftain, Edo State, political affairs analyst. Welcome to Politics Tonight. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. It's a 30-minute conversation tonight, so let's get straight into it. The organized labor has suspended its ongoing indefinite strike for 1 week over a new national minimum wage and reversal of the recent electricity tariff hike. A joint National Executive Council meeting of the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, and Trade Union Congress, TUC, has approved to relax the industrial action for 1 week with immediate effect. 3 major agreements have been reached. But the federal government has assured the labor leaders that President Bola Tinubu was committed to paying a new monthly minimum wage above the initial offer of 60,000 naira. Let's speak with Kassim Afegbua, APC chieftain in Edo State, and is also a political affairs analyst, for some perspective as Labour federal government resume negotiations. Good evening to you, Mr. Afegbua. Thank you so much for joining us on Politics Tonight.
Good evening, and thanks for having me.
All right, so now that the strike has been relaxed for a week for the tripartite committee to go back to the negotiation table, 3 major agreements. The federal government is committed to paying above the initial offer of 60,000 naira. Nobody will be victimized. And the third is that meetings will be held on a daily basis. First, how do you react to these tentative agreements?
When it comes to strike, I don't have anything like tentative. I am not an advocate of strike, because strike kills the economy. It's good that they saw reasons to call off the strike after about, let me say, 48 hours or less than that. But for God's sake, when you keep going on strike, you are killing our economy. And you are asking for money for minimum wage, and you are slowing down the economy. At the end of the day, where do you expect government to get money to fund minimum wage? So we need to be rational in the decisions we take, in the approach we adopt. Labour may have a reason to say they are agitating, but they should also know that not all Nigerians are federal government employees. There are private sector drivers, like some of us who are in the private sector, who are also struggling to earn a living. So when you carry out your strike action, it disrupts our own activities and all that. Who do we cry to as private sector? Who do we cry to, to add value to our own problems and what have you? So for me, rather than strike, under a democracy, we should promote the culture of dialogue, conversation, and robust engagement, interaction. The government has never stopped interacting with labor. So the idea of going on strike within 24 hours notice and you shut down the whole country, to the extent of even, putting out power, in this country, that's treasonable. You shut down power. Just imagine a UK, for example, without power for 12 hours. Imagine the people in the hospital. Imagine people who are in the ICU. Imagine people who are having health challenges and need electricity to do one thing or the other in the hospitals and other places. And you just shut down without considering the consequences and the implications. Yesterday, total blackout has affected some people. There are people who were primed for surgery yesterday, who couldn't. I have a friend who lost his son just yesterday evening because he was in ICU and they took power before they could restore the generator. They said it was bad, running here and there and all that. And that's it. Are you going to bring the life of that poor young boy to life? So when you are embarking on strike, please weigh the economic implications, weigh the consequences. You may agitate for salary increase and all of that. You are getting 100% increment to 60,000. If you know it's not okay for you, grab that one. Tell government that at social time you are coming back to ask for more, like Oliver Twist. Nobody will quarrel with that. But you just shut down the entire country and all that. Even people who want to work, you are going to offices to stop them from working. Issues like this should be voluntary. You don't have to enforce it as if we are running a dictatorship. Sorry?
Right, Mr. Afegbua, you preempted my next question because I wanted to ask you if strike is the only means of resolving labor disputes, particularly in Nigeria. But when you hear Labour say, evidently it looks like strike is the only language the Nigerian government understands. And I mean, past administration have also gone back on agreements made with Labour and even ASU. How do you react to that?
You see, the point is, under a military regime where you have too much of dictatorship and all of that, you can be using strike because they wouldn't want to listen to you. They wouldn't want to engage with you and all that because it's all about jackboot mentality. But in a democracy, for God's sake, you saw the different engagements and conversations. You saw the Senate President, the leadership of the National Assembly, the Speaker, the Deputy Senate President, and all of them. You saw them engage with Labour and all that. So if government says, okay, this is the level where we can drive this minimum wage to at this point, if you are not comfortable, give them, a time frame. Okay, we're asking for more dialogue, we're asking for more conversation. In the next 2 weeks, we are going to come back on this same table and all that. In all of these crises, everything ends on the table. Are they not discussing now? Look at Gaza and Israeli crisis, genocidal war and all that. It is still going to end on a round table. Ukraine-Russia crisis is going to end on a round table. Why even indulge in it in the first place? When there is opportunity for dialogue, for conversation, for interaction, then you explore that. Then you apply wisdom and logic. You don't shut down the economy is suffering serious fluctuation, whether we like it or not. That's the reason why the Labour are asking for minimum wage so that there could be improvement in their take-home pay. But again, you cannot kill the employer because you want to help the employee. No, you can't do that. What you should do is you know that the economy is already suffering some fixation. So if you want to help the government or you want to help the country, you have to put into consideration the present situation we find ourselves. But by the time you cripple everybody, not everybody is a civil servant. I hope they know that. You wake up in the morning, you want to go and hustle and all of that, and they tell you they block everywhere and they say you can't move. You want to travel, they say you can't travel and all of that. There are people who are pursuing their legitimate aspirations on a daily basis they don't even know whether government exists, apart from just government providing security and they can fly, they can go to places they want to go to. So
just as you've pointed out, there has been so much criticism towards the actions of organized labor, especially the shutting down of critical national infrastructure like the power grid and other installations. I mean, it's sad enough that the entire fabric of the economy is affected. People who rely on their daily income to feed themselves cannot get on with such. So the bigger question is, who then is Labour fighting for?
They are fighting for their members. They are fighting for the federal employees. But I'm saying that you cannot kill the employer because you want to help the employees. The two of them, you must protect the interests of the two of them. Because if there is no employer, there won't be an employee. That's the point. Even the private sector employs more people than even federal government. A lot of these labor leaders, they have absconded from their duty posts. How many of them go to their primary duty for which they were recruited ab initio? They are just doing activism. You can do activism, but please factor in the interest of the people. I just told you how painful it was for my friend to lose his son yesterday, because he was at ICU battling to save the poor boy's life, and because of this labor strike, the boy has passed. Now, if you get your minimum wage and all that, are you going to reverse the life of that boy? So these are the issues. And a lot of these people, once they hear strike, they go to their private businesses, they run it. Doctors will leave the public offices, they will go to the public hospital, they will go to their private hospitals, they will go and they go and continue their work there and all of that. They see government as us versus them and all that. They don't know that citizen participation in government is what makes government to function properly. And when you tell them, they say, you are anti-people, you are anti-this, you are anti-that. But you are disrupting my own legitimate aspiration of pursuing my daily income. And you are telling me that because if they give minimum wage increase to 70, 80, 90, 100,000, the market might increase the tomatoes immediately. You will increase the Maggi, will increase onion, plantain, and all of that. Meanwhile, they will know that not everybody is a civil servant who earns that kind of money. So we need to balance all of this and come up with an aggregate position such that It will be for the interest of the entire majority of Nigeria. If the civil servants are 2 million or 1 point something million, as they say, out of 200 million, what percentage is that? And you cripple the entire country, you switch off, turn the country to a complete blackout, and you clap for yourself.
So, Mr. Afegbua, do you
we are not helping ourselves as Nigerians. We need to interrogate some of these issues and weigh in on them so that it doesn't become us versus government and all that. Who is government? We are the government. So I'm not a supporter of any strike of any time, particularly politicized.
Kindly hold on, Mr. Afegbua.
This will be about the third or fourth strike. And you cannot quantify the damage that is doing to our economy. And you turn around tomorrow and say you want salary increase.
All right.
This may not be a popular position, but it is the real thing I'm talking about. Because people will tell you, oh, yeah,
let me come in here. Do you agree with those who have said that as a matter of necessity, he's still talking. Mr. Afegbua, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
All right. So do you agree with those who have said, as a matter of necessity, organized labor needs to look into its modalities of negotiations, especially the NLC, because the leadership of the NLC, led by Comrade Joe Ajere, has been criticized for lack of direction and consideration, especially when negotiating with government?
There has been too much of hot temper on the side of Ajero. I don't think, maybe he's thinking he's another president of Nigeria. He's not an alternative government. He can be fighting for the interests of his members and all of that, but they are part and parcel of the crisis we are facing in this country. We talk about subsidy removal. Who were the civil servants who were generating fake vouchers to oil marketers in subsidy regime? Who were the people? Are they not civil servants? What are we talking about? Go to the ministries and see how rotten a lot of these ministries are. Are they not civil servants who are being fought for now? It is convenient for you to say you want to take off government because you don't like the face of the man who is the president. But please don't politicize everything. There are 1,001 Nigerians, millions of Nigerians who are not under government employee. So they shouldn't leave because you want your salary increase. You can agitate for your salary increase, but please don't shut down the country. You can discuss, you can carry out robust conversation, dialogue. Those are the beauties and ingredients of democracy. You don't have to, when you send the country on a total blackout, do you know the consequence? Do you know the implications? Do you know what you have done to the economy? Do you know what you have done to even persons who are suffering one ailment or the other in hospitals and what have you? So Ajero has been carrying on strike. And because it's been tolerated in a way, I've just told my friend yesterday that we are going to form an National Association of Unemployed Nigerians. We want to try as much as possible to generate numbers and figures that will be so bogus, as unemployed Nigerians, so that when each time these people don't want to work, we plug in. Some people are plugging. There are people who are out there who are looking for jobs. And you want to kill Nigeria because you want to help employees? You want to kill the employer? So for me, I just want to stop all this politicization. There's too much of politicization of this strike. If they say dialogue has broken down, give government a window. 2 weeks and say, if you don't call us for these 2 weeks, we are going to do that. You can threaten government by strike. But you can't just wake up within 24 hours, you shut down the entire country, and you want to show that you have muscle, ego, and you are turning this thing. We have seen labor leaders past and present. We know them. They are all part and parcel of the problems of the economy. The kind of lifestyle they live, does it reflect their activism? Does it reflect their comradeship?
Mr. Afegbua, you talked about tolerance, and I want us to talk about that because some Nigerians have said this is basically why this is happening the second time. Isn't it worrisome that organized labor possesses such power to shut down critical national infrastructure like the power grid? I mean, we also saw videos of some of the labor leaders using canes to threaten workers. Does the right to go on strike allow for criminal actions under any guise and assault on citizens who are going about their lawful activities?
Yes, that's exactly the point I was making earlier, that strike, even labor union is voluntary. You want to belong to labor union, you can belong. It's voluntary, it's not under any compulsion. You don't have to force people to belong to, and you don't have to force people to go to work or not to go to work. But even when they go to work, when they are ready to go to work, when you call for a strike, allow them. Don't force them. Don't go and start picketing companies, banks, and what have you. There are people who want to go to bank to just pick just ordinary 1,000 naira that day, and you didn't allow them. At the end of the day, the consequences of that, you can't measure it. So when you are carrying out your strike, let your strike have a human face. Going to turn off our national grid. Do you know how many manufacturing companies that were working on national grid that are on electricity, that putting up the power has affected them? Do you know some products that if you are not unable to produce them at a certain point, they get spoiled? Do you know the economic consequences? It is very convenient. You want a salary. Nobody is saying you should not agitate, but please apply wisdom. Be rational in your agitation. Take certain steps and allow room for others. If you say national grid total blackout, Nigerian total blackout, and all that, who are you helping? Are you helping yourself as part and parcel of the Nigerian populace, or you are helping government, or you are helping labor, or the employees? Are they not also affected by the blackout and all of that?
Mr. Afegbua, is there no law in place against such sabotage?
Yeah, but you know Nigerians now, when you start now, they will say, oh, President Tinubu is trying to victimize labor, he's trying to do this, trying to do that. But I've listened to some very sound lawyers who have given perspective on this labor issue with respect to the laws that are existing and all of that. But this is Nigeria. Anything goes. Anything goes. And when, you see, personally, I would want this government to take the bull by the horn and do a serious civil service reforms. There are a lot of people that shouldn't even be in our civil service to drive our policy implementation processes. Because when you go to the ministry, it's a sordid tale of laziness, of inefficiency, and what have you. I'm not going to give a pro rata condemnation, but a majority. Go to the toilets in the ministries. Apart from the one that the DG is using, or maybe director or whatever, which is under lock and key, the general one is always messy. And somebody is being employed to take care of that, to clean up that product and all that. But he won't do that. Instead, they will be selling bombs, they will be selling granite, they will be selling quinkery and what have you. Then tomorrow they wake up and say they should be paid salary at the end of the month. Meanwhile, the toilets for which they are employed to clean is written in discrepant state. So for me, we need to take bold actions, and this government is taking that bold actions, but it's been labeled, differently. It's been blackmailed differently, and nobody has come forward to give me an alternative economic policies, alternative governmental policies that will say, okay, this is what government is doing. This is the alternative. If you do this, you get this result. Nobody. All the critics, they are just criticized for criticism's sake. Only 2-3 days ago, I was in another program, and somebody was shouting, oh, this Lagos Coastal Road is misplaced. I said, give me an alternative. They won't be able to give you alternative, but they will condemn. Opposition is an integral part of democracy, no doubt about that. But please, for God's sake, come up with alternatives of what you think government can do better. Our dollar is 1,450 today. What do you think we can do better? Since they are floated, you say floating is not the issue. What can you do better? Because other countries are floating their currencies. Heaven has not fallen. So, you see, it is good for us to change our attitude to government and own up to government and know that this government is our own. You have to own the government. So that citizens' obligations will be functionally carried out without let or hindrance. This idea of thinking that government is separate from us and all that is what is causing all of this. But I like the boldness of the president. I like the courage he has applied so far. State governments are getting more money from federal allocation. What are the state governments doing? Government has come up with about 14 items for which they try to cushion the impact of the subsidy removal. But because subsidy removal has taken a lot of people out of cheap money, because they've been making so much money from this subsidy regime, so because they are visiting their anger on the presidency, on the president and the government of the day. But that one won't move the country forward. If you want to make progress, we must be ready to step on toes. We must be ready to carry out serious civil service reforms so that in the final analysis, we know that the people who are running the system are those who are actually ready to help us to grow, not those who have been dragging us down in the name of greed and selfish inclinations.
All right, so what are your predictions about this daily talks that will be going on for the next few days? Do you foresee a final agreement being reached? Well,
agreement will be reached, but I'm saying that labor should be rational. You see, government is considering a 100% increase by 60,000. They said they want to move further. Fine. But moving further, do you know that some states in the country are not able to pay 30,000 minimum wage?
Absolutely.
I was reading on social media that one particular state was paying 15,000 minimum wage. So if they can't pay 30,000, for example, how do you pay 60,000? That is one. Secondly, it's about time that the president, looked at us in the face and said, let us practice true fiscal federalism, so that states can cash in on their comparative advantage and do things that will reflect the peculiarities in their state. You can't be paying somebody in Jigawa, say 60,000 naira, and pay somebody in Lagos who is a federal worker 60,000 naira. House rent in Jigawa may be around 40,000 naira per month or per year or whatever. But in Lagos, we'll be talking about 400,000, 500,000. So how are they equal? So let states, do things based on their comparative advantage. Let federal government drive the process of, of a minimum wage to reflect the strength and the economic wherewithal of every state. That way, it will make more sense than this pro rata 60,000 blanket slate. Yeah, everybody 60,000, and whether you can pay, whether you can't pay. But every state should be able to pay, but they are not paying. What is labor in those states? What are they doing? What has labor done, the NLC done in states that are not paying 30,000? Have they gone on strike? In those states, have they put the governors to task? It's always convenient for them to put the president to task. But what about the state government that are not paying all of that? What have we done about it?
That's a fair question,
so
Mr.
Labor should look inward. Labor should look inward and do a self-assessment of his approach thus far in the last 1 year. It is one strike too many, and it's not helping our economy. We are complaining that our economy is down, we are not getting the kind of resources, and yet you are shutting down the country.
All right, Mr. Afegbua. Now, another reason for the strike is reversal of increased electricity tariff. Do you see this as justified and achievable?
Everything, my dear sister, everything about agitation under a democracy should be better, trashed out using dialogue and conversation. You sit down on the round table because in the final analysis of carrying out strike, you still go back to the same round table. So they should call the relevant players to task. If it is the discos, the GENCOs, and what have you, please call them on a round table, present your position to them, and insist that if ABC is not done within this time frame, you will be proceeding on strike. That should be used as a subtle threat. They will listen to you because they know the implications of that.
All right, thank you so much. We're out of time. Thank you very much. I've been speaking with Kassim Afegbua, APC chieftain in Edo State, political affairs analyst. Thank you so much.
It is not enough as APC chieftain. And I'm a concerned Nigerian. I'm paying the fact that I'm in the private sector, and this strikes is also disrupting my activities and my work. Nobody is going to give me bonus, for disrupting my work yesterday and today. Nobody is going to give me bonus. You are going to be getting your own salary increase. What about me? I have people I pay salaries. So
all right, Mr. Afegbua, thank you. I sincerely, I thought we had enough time, but sadly we had 30 minutes for this conversation tonight. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure always.
And thank you very much for watching. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But you can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode at midnight. Get in touch with us on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and X at TVC News NG. You can use the hashtag Politics Tonight. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Good night, everyone.
exclusive, revealing, and groundbreaking happenings in the world of brands and brand builders in Nigeria and across the globe. Mingle with people and brands that make the cut and the personalities that keep reinventing the trends and traditions in the marketing world. All an exciting one-stop shop for marketing vibes. Marketing Edge on TV. You are always right on time with the right people and movers and shakers of the world of marketing as they share their views and ideas on the business and challenges of advertising, corporate affairs, media strategy, and the unfolding exciting world of digital marketing. Join the trendsetters and key decision makers as they shape opinions and project into the future of the marketing landscape for 30 exhilarating minutes on this channel. Stay ahead, be thrilled to beat, be marketing savvy with Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand idea.
Hello there, it's a brand new quarter and your favorite program, CAC Weekly, is about to unveil new innovations, fresh from the Nigerian Company Registry. Have you heard of the Extensible Business Reporting Language Standard for filing of electronic financial statements? Do you know that there's so much you can do on your own on the company's registration portal, CRP, from the comfort of your home or office? The CRP offers, amongst others, end-to-end electronic registration solution for accredited customers and the general public to initiate and complete pre-registration and post-registration applications electronically, online filing of annual return, online registration of limited liability partnership and limited partnership. See you there.
From the valleys through the hills to the riverbanks of Kogi State, we bring you update on the developmental and economic activities of the Kogi State government under the leadership of Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo on Confluence States Today. From road construction to infrastructure, health and human development, we take you on a journey around the 21 local government areas of Kogi State on Confluence States Today. Kogi State is moving forward. Our people are enjoying the true dividends of democracy. Confluence States Today, showing on TVC News at this time.
Stay ahead with the biggest news stories. Go beyond the news headlines. Experience impactful investigations. Enjoy resourceful news coverage in real time. TVC News at 7 and TVC News at 10 p.m. Live every day on this channel.
TVC News, first with breaking news.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Welcome to the Art Express. Now, as you know, it is our primary assignment on the Art Express to project artists who, through their works, paints the world in many bright colors. All you have to do is sit back and relax as I take you on this exciting creative journey. My name is Tolokwe Lamini, your host. Today on Gallery, Beyond the Eye exhibition by Iwalewa Gallery of Contemporary and Modern Art brings to the fore a rare opportunity to postulate fresh ideas, artistic concepts, and insights from the stable of some of Nigeria's best creatives. Let's take a look.
Fantastic, beautiful. He wanted to show people who are masters. But as I described, as I said earlier on, the work here that we see here are actually work of master of masters. Excellent.
Take pleasure in swinging with creative people and the creative enterprise. Art in Nigeria is blossoming. Despite all the other problems we have in Nigeria, the creative space is just exploding, and it's all dimensions. The new generation, they seem to even have far, far more than us. So we salute talent and creativity.
Apart from the name, it's the size of the gallery itself. Somebody who has written about galleries and visual arts in Nigeria, the problem I've always had with our gallery that we seem to like small spaces. Most of our galleries have very small space, so you can't even feel the work. Because to see an artwork, you have to really take some distance to be able to see the work from afar. But here is a lot of space on 3 floors, and you can see the way the works have been displayed. You know, so the size of the gallery is again the second thing for me. The third point is not many galleries that you can see virtually all the schools of art represented. Here you see Yaba, you see Ife, you see Benin, you see Auchi. Just name the art school.
Beyond the Eye is an attempt to document heritage rich in rites, relics, sights and sounds from this part of the world. This exhibition brings to the fore a rare opportunity to postulate fresh ideas, artistic concepts and insights from the stable of some of Nigeria's best creative exports. These renowned artists are versatile and have made their mark across different media with varying styles while exploring life experiences and interestingly evoking multiple messages. Beyond the Eye is an exclusive art exhibition for the discerning art collector in contemporary times. Art is more than meets the eye, and this is evident in the repertoire of the works exhibited.
Iwalewa. It's not only a Yoruba concept, it's a global concept of the beauty of character. And then you have to take it from the educational part of it. This is an education to all of us. We all know what we're going through in the country at the moment in terms of bringing up our youth. And we seem to have lost character. And this is one of the ways of regaining a character that dignifies our own race, the Yoruba race. And if you look at the work here, it's a collection of many, many things and many ideas and many concepts of people, how the world could be better for us. And I hope, first and foremost, we're all going to gain the educational part of it. And then, before we look at the economic value of what art and the artists can give to our country.
This is my 8 years in Lagos doing art, and decided to come up with a space that shows art, culture, and literature is about having to train kids for the future generation. We have a lot of great masters showing today. We have a lot of upcoming masters in the space of art. So we intend to promote with our space different phases of art and different people of different spaces, of different generations. An exhibition space to show them to the world. Media space partnership that works. And we intend to have residency programs very soon. So with that, we'll have a lot of people more on our platform trying to train to do better.
Today's exhibition is a successful exhibition because we have so many artists, both known and unknown, who participate in this exhibition. And it's a very successful exhibition.
And I'm happy that a great artist like Baba Bruce was present here. So it's a great exhibition. Where art in Nigeria, the patronage has improved compared to where we started. When we